Hey gang, on the Morning Night Live today, we have a Jussie update. It's been so long. I'm so excited to be able to have a Jussie update. It's been weeks since I've done it. So plus we get a little bit more information on Lynchgate, and just the usual stuff. Little news, little Twitter trends on the Morning Night Live. Let's play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog Studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P. Dog Night. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, me, Marty, aka P Dog Night, on Wednesday, the 23rd of October, 2019. I'm so happy that y'all are starting to roll in, and the guys who are here first, who show up right away, love it. Hopefully we'll get some more people rolling in like we do on a daily basis. I got a weird thing going on here. Error, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Hey, that is going to work itself out, but I am so happy that you are here. We haven't talked for a while about Jussie Smollett, but he was in the news yesterday, and the only reason I know that is because I follow Rob Elgas, who is from ABC Chicago, and so this little thing came up on my Twitter feed. Let's see, in order, new statement from Jussie Smollett's attorney. Yeah, it's buggy. Yeah, it should work itself out eventually here. I'm plugged into the landline, but anyway. New statement from Jussie Smollett attorney after a judge does not dismiss case against him. The city of Chicago is seeking money spent on the investigation. Smollett was beaten last winter in downtown Chicago. The court ruled that the city's case will be decided on the facts and not the pleadings. As you know, in the legal system, dismissal on the pleadings is a very high bar, and as a result, the court's decision is not surprising. The pleadings are just the city's side of the story. Now Mr. Smollett will get to present his side of the case. Mr. Smollett has always maintained his innocence and is eager to have the complete facts of the case come out. Well, that should be very interesting. Let's see. He looks forward to taking depositions and otherwise bringing to light many of the facts that have been overlooked in the court of public opinion. I wonder what facts they're talking about. Mr. Smollett is confident that once the full story is available, he will be vindicated. Hoo boy, that's gonna be interesting. Well, I got an article about that from CNN, but before I do that, let me just say good morning to the people who are already here, because y'all deserve the recognition. Good morning, Tyler F., who was first today. And good morning, Pancalo, the driving 8-man. C. Thomas, Corbin, my buddy, Gulf City Peasant. Duck Dog, the gayest person on YouTube, and Richo. Good morning. Now, I'm sure there'll be more people strolling in, maybe, once they see the tweet. But for those of you who are here, hey, go ahead and... Penis? What? C. Thomas, what the hell? Actually, that's expected. I know that I'm going to get... oh, gosh, I don't know if that's the best way to phrase this. I know that if C. Thomas is in the chat, I'm going to get penis. That's not the best way to say that. I just don't know how else to say it. Just like if Diesel Dave shows up, he'll say, "What's up, fuckers?" You just got some. There's some things that you just expect from your audience. So, anyway, moving on. Let's just this is the Jussie update because it's Wednesday, and that's when I used to do the Jussie updates. Because there was a point where you could do an update every day on Jussie, and I got tired of it. So I said, no, you know what? Let's just do Jussie updates once a week. Well, there hasn't been a whole lot going on the old Jussie Smollett front, but as of yesterday, there was something happening. Oh, wait a minute, wrong article. Let me get the right article here. CNN, Jussie, there we go. Okay, so, and here's what they were referencing yesterday. Oh, I need a full pager on this one. Here we go. Here's what they were referencing yesterday. A federal judge refuses to dismiss Chicago's lawsuit against Jussie Smollett. A federal judge refused to dismiss a lawsuit filed by the city of Chicago against actor Jussie Smollett, court documents show. A legal battle being fought in federal court as Chicago seeks to recover more than $130,000 to cover police overtime during the investigation of Smollett's report of a hate crime attack. Whew. Yeah. To cover police overtime in January. The actor has refused for months to pay the city, and his attorneys have said he will not be intimidated into paying. Attorneys for the former Empire actor, notice the word former Empire actor. Now, I'm not sure if any of you who are watching here today watch the show Empire, but my wife quite enjoys the show. And when this whole thing began, my wife she'd watch the show. She always has it DVR'd, so she doesn't watch it, as it's being broadcast, but she watches it after the fact. And she loved to just zip right through anything that had to do with Jussie Smollett after this thing happened. Well, Jussie Smollett is no longer on the show, and it's weird because the storyline, his character got married. They had the big gay wedding at the end of last season. And this season, he's completely disappeared because they've dropped him from the show. Wow, that's weird. Is my mic really low? Try this again. Here, I'm going to turn this gain up a little bit just to make sure. Are we louder, softer, louder? What the hell's going on here? Okay, if you guys can hear me, that's fine. He has been dropped from the show. The storyline they came up with was that he and his new husband are gone in London. And they're starting to kill off characters. Lucius Lyon, who's like the main character, he's apparently got shot. So now the show is just falling apart. This is the last season of the show. The show's being canceled after this. But anyway, so I just found this quite humorous the way they phrase this though. What is weird here? Okay, so anyway, the legal battle being fought in federal court. Chicago seeks to recover more than $130,000 to cover the police overtime during the investigation of Smollett's report of a hate crime attack in January. The actors refused for months to pay the cities, and his attorneys said he will not be intimidated into paying. But I love the fact that they say attorneys for the former Empire actor filed a motion to throw out the lawsuit, saying that filing a report does not typically result in such an extensive investigation. Well, so the investigation was how it happened, what happened, and you know what? The investigation took him in a little bit different direction now, didn't it? They also said Smollett could not have been aware of how much time and money police would spend investigating his allegations. Court documents said, of course they couldn't, because they didn't think they would figure out that it was a false accusation. Oh, and here it is. Smollett, who is gay and black, as if anyone on the planet doesn't know by now that Smollett is gay and black, claimed earlier this year to have been a target of a hate crime. After police investigated the case for weeks, They said investigators believe Smollett staged the attack to bolster his profile and career. Tuesday, U.S. District Judge Virginia Kendall denied Smollett's request to dismiss the lawsuit, allowing the case to proceed to the discovery phase. Interesting. William J. Quinlan, an attorney representing Smollett, said Tuesday the court's decision was not surprising and that his client expects to be vindicated once he shares his side of the story. Well, it's going to be interesting because Mr. Smollett has already shared his side of the story very publicly. In fact, when he spoke with Robin Gibbons, and also he's shared it very publicly several different times in several different venues, and seems to have had several different stories. So I'm just curious which story he'll be sharing this time. Or will he be begging for mercy, knowing that they got him? Got him. Oh, by the way, good morning, Chicago Mike. Good morning, Blind Press. Good morning, Straight Sith Mail. I am so glad you're here. Hello. Let's see. Oh, Mr. Smollett, quote, I'm quoting the attorney here. Mr. Smollett has always maintained his innocence and is eager to have the complete facts of the case come out. He looks forward to taking depositions and otherwise bringing to light many of the facts that have been overlooked in the court of public opinion to date. Now it's funny. Seeing one of the things that he was most upset about, particularly in that Robin Gibbons interview, was that people just couldn't understand why he was out getting Subway at 2 a.m. on a very cold day. Because he was hungry. That's why. That's the one thing that got him really upset. Nothing else. Everything else was kind of like, oh, this and that, and I'm smiling. I just want to do this and that, but I'm really mad about the people asking me about Subway. What are you going to do when you're hungry at 2 a.m? You go to Subway. Yeah, actors on hit series always just go take a walk over to the Subway. That door, when did this happen? This didn't happen that long ago. They had DoorDash and places that deliver food. Your ass ain't walking you're not walking a Subway. I'm sorry. And then he said, one story was like, oh yeah, I went over to Walgreens to get something to eat. Negro, please. You didn't walk to Walgreens to get something, and it was closed, and so you decided to have a smoke. Oh, good Lord. Your story is embarrassing, sir. It's embarrassing. Chicago Department of Law filed the lawsuit in state court in April, but the case was later moved to federal court. Now, that's interesting. I missed when they moved it to federal court. That's very interesting. Smollett was indicted on 16 felony counts, but weeks later, prosecutors unexpectedly dropped all charges. The prosecutor said Smollett had forfeited his $10,000 bail money and done community service. What's funny about that is they didn't really have a formal agreement on that, though. So he still could be charged criminally for this case. Oh gosh, I find it quite humorous, man. Quite humorous. Anyway, so they just kind of recapped the case. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson said Smollett paid two brothers $3,500 to stage the attack and take advantage of the pain and anger of racism to promote his career. Yeah, the brothers Olabinjo and Obimbola Osendairo were cleared when prosecutors announced Smollett had orchestrated a hoax. Oh my goodness. Discovery's going to be he thinks, I don't know what his attorneys are thinking. I'm thinking his attorneys are thinking they could possibly wait it out. Just let it out, P-Dog. Just let the ghetto out. We can hear it in your voice. You want to go off. Just do you can feel that, huh? I'm just saying. Problem is, here's the problem, Pincalo. Here's the problem. I I didn't have a whole lot of ghetto in me. I grew up around white people. I grew up in the suburbs of Omaha. My parents moved. We moved and built a house and built our own, practically built our own neighborhood. When I was 5, I should tell that story sometime. Actually, there's an article in an Omaha paper about that. Because I'm old enough, people bitch about stupid shit like redlining, which isn't really a thing now. But redlining was a real thing back when, in the late 60s when my parents were looking for a new house because they wanted to move out of this neighborhood we lived in. Seeing that it was kind of getting rough and they just didn't, they wanted to, go out. They were really into what schools we went to and just who we hung around. And so they decided they wanted to move. And when my parents were looking for houses, they would go look at a house. Like they go to an open house, Black Compelled Omaha in 1968, 67, and so on, right after they adopted me. And they'd go to a house, and they tell me, my mom would tell the story. They go to a house, and the realtors wouldn't talk to them. They'd walk in, they kind of start walking around. Realtor wouldn't say anything to them. And then like a white couple would come in behind them, and the realtor would be like, "Oh, hey, what can I show you around?" Da, 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 da. And they just ignore my parents. It was, and so my parents, after that happened many times, because it was just one of those things. That's the kind of time it was. After that happened so many times, my parents said, "Okay, fine. We're not going to try to buy an existing home. We're going to go build a house. We're going to build the house we want to build." And so they went out in Western Omaha, just at the outskirts. There's some newer neighborhoods out there. And even then, people were like, we're not gonna, they wouldn't show them lots even. So, there was an unincorporated area adjacent to the western city limits, in Omaha. And this developer, and my parents weren't the only ones. There were my parents were both teachers, so there were some other educators, some other professionals, black professionals. And so they said, you know what, fuck it, we're going to go make our own neighborhood. So they had found this developer, and they all kind of got together and said, okay, we're going to build a neighborhood right here, right outside the city limits, literally one street outside the city limits. And so this neighborhood they built, it ended up being basically a mixed race neighborhood out in basically what would be a suburb, considered a suburb, technically. And they built this neighborhood, and there's about like 9 black families and about some white families, and eventually the neighborhood grew up and grew pretty big. And so, my parents were just like that. They were like, you know what? Okay, we're not gonna get this open house. Okay, fuck it, we'll make our own neighborhood, and we'll build. And so then I ended up going to this. I basically went to this elementary school where in the suburbs, pretty much all white people. So, I mean, me and my sister and the 2 kids up the street, there were 4 black kids in my elementary school when I went to kindergarten. Now, when I left that school, there were more, but when I first went there, I was one of 4 black kids, and both families had the same last name, so everyone thought we were all related. It was kind of funny. It's like, that's not my sister. That's my sister. Those 2 girls we're not related. Yes, we have the same last name, and I know we're all black, but nope, we're not related. But anyway, that's the whole story there. You know what? I'm impressed. I can listen to the coffee stream. I appreciate that. But I'm working during the coffee stream. I'm always listening while I'm driving around. I drive around over the lunch hour, and that's when I'll figure it out. Maybe we'll do one of your, if it's possible, I can do one of your night streams. Thanks for the offer. All right, anyway, back to Jussie. Is anything new else in here? Y'all know the story. We're done with Jussie. All right, so, hey, let's do this real quick because this is my shill time. I'm glad y'all are here. I think we're getting more people in. Let's see here. Well, there's a few more. I don't know who all's here, but just raise your hand if you'd like, or just lurk if you'd like. That's fine. But just a reminder that the Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, right over which hand is it? This hand, that one. Down here, there's a share arrow, or up here if you're on a phone, but you still got to go down here to actually do the sharing. Share the stream out. Put it on social media. Tell people about it. Say, hey, what do you? Yeah, you know what? I know I'm in this chat on this stream. Come see P-Dog stream. Also, if you like what we do, let me know at the end by hitting that like button or duck. I know you like to hit the dislike button. I'm cool with that. Just interact. And if you're watching this stream after the fact, if you're not watching live, let's say there's a few of you who come and watch after the fact. Do me a favor. Write something in the comment section. Even if it's just to say, hi, I was here. See you later. I would really appreciate that. I'd like to know when you show up. Or if there's something I talked about, hey, comments, questions about my chat or about my stream or about, whatever, about my channel. I would love to hear from you in the comment section down below. And last but not least, for those of you in the chat, if you have something you absolutely want me to speak about or comment on, we do have a super chat function via the Streamlabs link in the description down there below, down there somewhere. So, and those people who do the super chats, I appreciate you so much. It's a great incentive to keep doing what I'm doing. And I also appreciate all of you who just come and listen and even those of you who lurk in the background. I appreciate all of you. So thanks for being here. I am glad you're here. All right, let's move on. So yesterday there was a bit of a kerfluffle. And we talked about it because it was trending, and I knew it would end up trending. Oh, okay, Pinconnell, you got to start driving. I'm assuming that's what you mean by hit the road because you drive. And so, we'll see it on the flip side. All right. Yesterday was a little kerfuffle, and we saw it in the Twitter trends yesterday because Donald Trump tweeted something about something lynching something, that the whole impeachment inquiry thing was like kind of like a lynching because there was no due process. So a lot of, excuse me, I got a bad cough today. I took some Robitussin so I wouldn't cough, but I did. That was a nasty one right there. So a lot of people got really upset about that, saying, how can you use that word? It's a racist word, and so many black people did this and that, blah, and dabba. People were pissed off, and I found it very, very weird because, he was talking in a figurative speech and saying, comparing it, a lot of black people were mad. Some black people were laughing about black people being mad too. I'm telling you, as the hoteps about that thing, because they're just making fun of people who were mad about it. But anyway, it was craziness. So I got a few articles on this actually. Cocaine Mitch. Oops, hang on there. Stated that, here, let's get this down here. Trump lynching remark was unfortunate, but impeachment probe is unfair. Okay, that's Cocaine Mitch's take on it. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said on Tuesday, President Donald Trump comparing House Democrats' impeachment inquiry to a lynching was unfortunate. Given the history in our country, I would not compare this to a lynching. That was an unfortunate choice of words, McConnell told reporters during a press conference, but added that he shared the president's view that the House Democrats' impeachment probe is deeply flawed. It's an unfair process. He added the better way to characterize it would be to call it an unfair process and inconsistent with the kind of procedural safeguards that are routinely provided for people in this situation, either in court or in an impeachment process in our country. Kind of like a lynching. Like, no, I'm sorry. That's not how I wanted to go with that. But so that's Mitch McConnell. And I'm not even going to read the rest of that article because there's a whole bunch more. But, it's funny. Now, the American Thinker. This is, let's see. American Thinker. Dems, former lynch mob. GP holds the rope. Oh, interesting. Because here's Donald Trump's tweet. Someday, if a Democrat becomes president and Republicans win the House, even by a tiny margin, they can impeach the president without due process or fairness or any legal rights. Sound familiar? Okay. All Republicans must remember what they are witnessing here: a lynching. But we will win. Now, lynching obviously has a very, very sordid history in the history of the United States, especially for black people. And I fully agree with that. But it's not like this is the only time people have used that word. And it's just weird watching Republicans jump on this bandwagon. So here it is. The accustomed media and left of center figures immediately began howling and caterwauling. This is unsurprising. If Trump stated the Democrats are pouring me a cup of tea, we would anticipate the same St. Vitus dance of gibbering hysteria, and we would not be disappointed. What is dismaying is the number of Republicans crawling onto this particular bandwagon. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said, "I don't agree with that language." In the Senate, John Thune turned the classic weasel term inappropriate. Adam Kinzinger, a GOP congressman evidently out to be primaried, tweeted, "Never should we use terms like lynching here. The painful scourge in our history has no comparison to politics, and Donald Trump should retract this immediately." Now, the basis of the complaint seems, is that lynching, like, quote, the word lynching, like slavery or suffering and racism, is a word reserved only for black people and can only be used by them or on their terms. This is scarcely an exaggeration. There are people in this country who believe that we, the brothers, are the only people, that's my own terminology, I should put like the square brackets around it saying that I'm paraphrasing, are the only people who ever suffered under slavery. Now, who wrote this? J.R. Dunn, maybe that sentence didn't really come out the way you meant to, but whatever. I get what his point is. The case with lynching is similar. Lynching, his claim, was reserved only for black folks and never suffered by whites. This is asinine. Crusading journalist Ida B. Wells focused for many years on exposing lynching. Lynching happened to a lot of people. Lynching, in fact, if you think about it, Democrats were kind of involved in the lynching in the not the too distant past here. Think about what happened to Muammar Gaddafi. I kind of blamed Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and all of them for that lynching. That was absolutely a lynching. And now, because Democrats are now tangentially involved in slave trade because of that particular lynching. Just saying. So back to Ida B. Wells. She carefully recorded the number of lynchings in the South, and her findings, while refined over the years, have never been challenged. There were 4,743 lynchings all told, while 3,446 were black, 1,297, over a quarter, were white. The Klan and similar trash were not necessarily picky about who they strung up. It is also quite likely that some of the whites who were hanged were too friendly or supportive of them their colored, a fact that has undoubtedly failed to occur to today's commentators. It's also fair to point out that every last lyncher, every last Klan member, every last member of a Southern mob in all these instances, without exception, was a Democrat. Well, yeah, things have not changed much, he says. Lynching was also commonly practiced on the frontier. It was a major enforcement tool against rustlers during the Great Cattle Drive in the era of the 1870s and 1880s. If anything, it was more widespread and accepted than in the South. Not to mention more virulent one-posse operations on the Platte hanged 35 men in a matter of days. So, yeah, lynching is not exclusively a black thing, although it has a very awful history in our own, in the history of black people. So I understand the ominous of the term. However, let's Okay, now Lindsey Graham, okay, he had to open his mouth too, of course. Here, Lindsey Graham. What did Lindsey Graham say? Now, Lindsey Graham's an interesting figure. We never know what's going to happen with him. But now that John McCain's gone, Lindsey Graham's kind of got a little more in line. But anyway, Lindsey Graham on impeachment. This is a lynching in every sense. Oh, good God. After conservatives across social media were wondering when Senator Lindsey Graham would rise up in defense of President Donald Trump with the same furious force that he exhibited during the Brett Kavanaugh fiasco, the senator publicly declared on Tuesday that Trump was right to declare the Democrats' impeachment inquiry a lynching. Okay, let's see here what he says. I think it's pretty well accurate. This is a shame. This is a joke, Graham told reporters. This is a lynching in every sense. This is un-American. I've never seen a situation in my lifetime as a lawyer where somebody's accused of a major misconduct who cannot confront the accusers, call witnesses on their behalf, and have a discussion in the light of day so the public can judge. Yeah, he's talking about the impeachment inquiry that has yet to be voted on by the House and the behind closed door stuff that they're doing so they don't have to, tell you what they're talking about. So anyway, so Lindsey Graham's on board with the term lynching. Okay, fine. And I'm sure people are pissed at him too. All right. Now what else do we got? We got, but here's the kicker though. Here is the kicker. There are people, there are those people who are very mad about using the term lynching today who just may have a issue with hypocrisy. Imagine that. Because, for example, let's take what's that guy who has the kid who's on the board of directors of some energy company? Joe Biden. 1998 remarks from Joe Biden surface after he attacks Trump's lynching remarks. Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden was quick to attack President Donald Trump on Tuesday after Trump referred to impeachment as a, quote, lynching, end quote, which is the same term that Biden used in 1998 to describe the impeachment of then President Bill Clinton. So someday, if a Democrat becomes president and the Republicans, okay, that's Trump's tweet. Here's some Biden responded to that Trump's tweet by saying, "The impeachment is not a lynching. It's part of our Constitution. Our country has a dark and shameful history with lynching, and to even think about making this comparison is abhorrent and despicable." There are some strong words, Joe. However, in an appearance on CNN in October 1998, Biden referred to the Clinton impeachment as a partisan lynching. Here's Biden's quote. "Even if the president should be impeached, history is going to question whether or not this was just a partisan lynching or whether or not it was something that in fact met the standards, the very high bar that was set by the founders as to what construed or constituted an impeachable offense." Oh my. In fact, here it is. Listen.
It seems to me that the process is being demeaned. And I have great faith in Henry Hyde, but old Henry better get on the job. Because unless he figures out how to corral this, no matter what happens, even if the president should be impeached, history is going to question whether or not this was just a partisan lynching or whether or not it was something that, in fact, met the standard, the very high bar that was set by the founders as to what constitutes an impeachable offense. Do you believe...
Can someone please find me a fainting couch, please? I need a fainting couch because he said he compared it to a lynching. Oh my goodness. Oh. Now, speaking of, now I don't think he's the only one though. Let's see. Well, here, oh my God. Oh, but here's the thing. Well, here, hang on. Here's the Democrats' response. Okay. Oh yeah. So of course, Democrats decide that this is Democrats pounce. Oh, see, now that's usually what you hear in the norm media. Now this is Breitbart, so it's the opposite of the other media. But Democrats pounce after Trump slams impeachment, quote, lynching, end quote. The president is a white supremacist. Oh, good. Several Democrats, including a handful of 2020 candidates, lambasted President Trump for describing the Democrat-led impeachment effort as a political lynching, calling the president's words despicable and disgusting, accusing him of being a white supremacist. Trump took to Twitter on Tuesday to slam Democratic-led impeachment effort, calling on Republicans to remember what they are witnessing here, a lynching. Okay, we've already seen the quote more than once. Lindsey Graham also said, yes, it's sure it's a political lynching. Here, the White House spokesman Hogan Gidley spoke to reporters and noted that the current impeachment process lacks due process. He added the president's not comparing what happened to him to one of the country's darkest moments. Kind of, has it cracked? Hi, cracked. How you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Has it been stated where the term lynching comes from? No, and it doesn't really. I don't know. It's. I suppose it's appropriate. You can put in the chat. We'll get there. The president's description of a partisan impeachment effort as a political lynching drew ire from Democrats across the board, including a handful of 2020 candidates. Kamala Harris. Lynching is a reprehensible stain on this nation's history, as is this president. Will never erase the pain and trauma of lynching, and to invoke that torture to whitewash your own corruption is disgraceful. Beto O'Rourke. The legacy of slavery, segregation, Jim Crow, and suppression is alive and well in every part of this country. Beto, whatever, but Mr. Robert Francis O'Rourke. Stop standing on shoulders of people you have no business being anywhere near. Please, you're a pandering fool. Okay? But he says, the legacy of slavery, segregation, Jim Crow, and suppression is alive and well in every part of this country. No, it's not. What? Tell me how. Anyway, including in the White House, where the president is a white supremacist. Oh my God, he's Joe Biden. Yeah, we already talked about Joe Biden. Julian Castro. It's beyond shameful to use the word lynching to describe being held accountable for your action. Cory Booker. Lynching is an act of terror used to uphold white supremacy. Try again. Congressman Tim Ryan. Lynching has a racist and dark past in our country's history and has been used to terrorize African Americans. To compare congressional oversight to lynching is disgusting and shameful. Elizabeth Warren. Lynching is a horrific stain on our country's history, and it's beyond disgraceful for Donald Trump to invoke one to avoid being held accountable for his crimes. Crimes? Okay, y'all with this crimes bullshit. Please show me the statute you're talking about. Okay? Give me the federal statute, the whatever. Y'all love to say crimes. Crimes is these are like, what's Hard Basher calls them media crimes. Okay, crimes. His only crime is he beat Hillary Clinton in a fair presidential race, and y'all are still butthurt about it. Even this bullshit in Ukraine. Even the bullshit in Ukraine, no crime has been committed. Okay? No statute, nothing. All right? Y'all are just butthurt over the same election that you spent 3.5 years or 2.5 years talking about Russia about. Russia failed, so now you're on to something else, you buttheads. Buttheads. That's a strong word, P-Dog, a butthead. Man. The remark drew reaction from more than just 2020 candidates. Oh, Ayanna Pressley, haven't even had coffee yet, and the occupant of the White House, the bigoted man who called for the execution of the exonerated five. By the way, the exonerated, kiss my ass with that. You know what? They never had a new trial for those guys, and if you really know the history of that particular thing with the Central Park Five, you might. These guys were made heroes, but there's a whole lot more to that story. I might go into that someday too. I'm not so convinced they were innocent, even after they found someone else's DNA on that woman. Okay, they weren't exonerated. It just meant there was another person involved. There's a whole lot to that story. Anyway, and in fact, the police in New York City still don't say they were exonerated. So anyway, and tossing the word lynching around, Lord, give me the strength not to take the bait, but hold this man accountable for everything he says and does. Eric Swalwell, of course, to call this a lynching is deeply offensive in ways you obviously don't care about. It's the rule of law. Get used to it. Frederica Wilson comparing impeachment to a lynching is one of the most despicable and disgusting things to come out of this president's mouth, and that's really saying something. Anyone who tries to defend this remark is just reprehensible. Oh, it just goes on and on and on. Except there's a small problem. Bobby Rush was one of the first ones. You think this impeachment is a lynching? What the hell is wrong with you? Do you know how many people who look like me have been lynched since the inception of this country by people who look like you? Delete this tweet, Donald Trump. Got a little problem, though. Got a little problem. Just one minor issue.
We are here today because the Republicans in the House are paralyzed with hatred of President Clinton, and until the Republicans free themselves of this hatred, our country will suffer.
Okay.
They are driven by hatred. They hate Bill and Hillary Clinton so much they will stop at nothing to bring him down. Oh, but they got another thought coming.
No impeachment should proceed without bipartisan support.
It's about a punishment searching for a crime that doesn't exist.
An impeachment of a president
this isn't the one I was thinking
is an undoing of a national election. And one of the reasons we all feel so angry about what they are doing is that they are ripping from us, they are ripping asunder our votes. They are telling us that our votes don't count.
The American people don't think that they have made a mistake by electing Bill Clinton. And we in Congress had better be very careful before we upset their decision and make darn sure that we are able to convince them if we decide to upset their decision.
This is
that
a different
our
one.
decision
Hold on, this is not the
to
one I wanted to
impeach
play.
him
We'll get to it,
was
though.
based
We'll get to the one I
upon
meant to.
principle and not politics.
All right, so that's that. All right, so the Democrats now, but let's go back to this last one though. You think this impeachment is a lynching? What the hell is wrong with you? Well, interesting, because here's a CNN article from recent years. Does this look familiar? Benghazi hearing. The high-tech lynching of Hillary Clinton. Oh my God, this Sophia Nelson. Now here's funny. Let me see if she's still up here. Let's find Sophia Nelson on Twitter because I think this is hilarious. Let's find. Where's my search thing? Here we go. Sophia Nelson. Okay, Sophia Nelson. Where's she at? Hey, oh, is this her? Yes. So Sophia Nelson, hilariously, dear President Donald Trump, this is a lynching. You have not been lynched. And she puts a picture of this woman who's been lynched, right? Sophia Nelson, that's who wrote this article? The high-tech lynching of Hillary Clinton? Oh my God. And now, oh my goodness. And now she replied. Same person, huh? So yes, I do. Miss Stillman and Mag Trumpster. A high-tech lynching is one that takes place on TV where the person in question is being attacked and impugned by virtue of their race, gender. Really? Trump is a rich privileged. Oh no! Trump is a rich privileged criminal white man. He cannot be the victim of a lynching. Sophia Nelson, do you even know the history of lynching, you moron? Oh, she continues. Number 2, is this still Mandy a real person or a Russian bot? Oh, that's the best comeback ever. Because she is digging through my writings, which is fine but curious. Or did someone in the GOP put her up to it and try to quiet me? Ain't gonna happen. Wow, there you go. That's called the bubble standard. Oh, I see. Thanks for clearing it up. Your nuance is so important. We plebes understand why you could use the word once, change the definition, then use it again in its new context. We are so silly. Fucking hilarious. See, Tom, or Piccolo, thank you, sir, for the $2 super chat via Streamlabs in the link down below. When did your politicians lose their backbone? Seriously, nobody has any kind of bite anymore. You would tear each other apart. Perpetual fucking children. They don't have the gall that it takes to lead the country. You hear me complain, or not complain, but I like to remind people that President Trump is a jackass. But note when I say that, yes, I'm not necessarily considering that an insult, okay? Because like I say, his opponents think he's a jackass. His supporters knows he's a jackass, and he knows he's a jackass, and he's very good at being a jackass. And sometimes you have to be a jackass. And now, I don't always approve of his jackassery, but there are times when I do approve of his jackassery, particularly when people say stupid shit. But again, it's not always good. I like I said, I still wish he'd put the iPhone down, but that's a style thing, right? So, yeah, it's funny. She's tying herself in knots, trying to justify her use of lynching. Bitch, please. And we just read some of the history of lynching. When Ida B. Wells did that, it was tracking all that. And those 1,327 white people that were lynched back in the day, white men who were cattle rustlers, and probably the privileged white males who got lynched too. Yes, the lynching of black people lasted up until into the 1900s. But yeah, he cannot be the victim of a lynching. Really? How about President Clinton? Was he a rich, privileged criminal white man when he was impeached? Oh, let's get into that. Let's get into that. So, impeachment cannot be compared to a lynching. Well, let's check that out. Okay? Let's check it out. Democrats compared Clinton's impeachment to lynching. Now, say Trump's racist for this doing the same. Democrats compared President Bill Clinton's impeachment trial to a lynching as they debated whether to impeach him in 1998. President Donald Trump simply compared the impeachment inquiry he's facing to a lynching, and Democrats quickly condemned his comment as racist. It makes you no better. Okay. And Al Green. Yeah, Representative Al Green. It makes you no better than those who burn crosses. It makes you no better than those who wear hoods and white robes. Fuck off, Representative Green. I'm sorry. Aren't you the asshole who right after Trump was inaugurated, you called for his impeachment with no grounds whatsoever? Representative Green, you're the one who wrote the resolution that's been voted down 3 different times. Representative Green. In December 1998, congressional representatives debated whether or not to impeach the president, for the first time since the House voted to impeach President Andrew Johnson on February 24th, 1868, according to the New York Times. Multiple representatives compared Clinton's impeachment to a lynching, and several others condemned it as a Republican attempt to remove Clinton from office. Let's see. They have video here. Oh, here. Let's do the greatest hits of comparing impeachment to lynching. How about we do that? Let's watch a little video here.
And ask a bunch of questions.
Sorry.
And indeed, it is a political lynching.
Political lynch mob.
Lynching.
I will not vote for this lynching.
Lynching.
We're in so much hurry to get this done so it can be in the Saturday, Sunday news cycle and have our mint juleps at 5 o'clock. We are going to find a rope, find a tree, and ask a bunch of questions.
We're going to find a rope. We're going to find a tree. Just listening to this representative speak is violence. And I'm not sure who this representative is, but I think he needs to come out as a white male. Okay, here he is again. Here's the white guy that's saying this. And as a white male, I believe that he should apologize to the entirety of Black America for using this racist imagery. I just do. I'm sorry, but ladies and gentlemen, I think we need to find out who this is and get an apology. C. Thomas with the $2 super chat. Thank you, sir. Gotta love how much of a knot these grievance grifters. Thank you for using my term. I need people to use my term, grievance grifters. How much of a knot these grievance grifters are in over lynching. They're so hung up about it. Ever feel like they're string ants along? I know I roped I didn't even catch that. That was good. That was funny as fuck. Gotta love how much of a knot the grievance grifters are in over lynching. They're so hung up about it. Ever feel like you're stringing us along? I know I roped in puns for this because I had to tie them down. Thank you, sir, for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you, C. Thomas. Let's continue this greatest hits.
Later.
How dare the president?
This is Al Green.
Compare.
Oh, but hey, not the right Al Green, not the. I'm so in love with you. Whenever you want me to, that's all I need. Let me be the one you jump into. I will live my life with you. Oh, let's stay together, loving you ever. That it's good, bad, happy or sad. Not that Al Green, anyway.
Lynching to impeachment.
I don't know how to characterize that from our president except as grotesque.
Towel. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear.
Thousands of African Americans were slaughtered during the lynching epidemic in this country for no reason other than the color of their skin.
How dare he do this? Does he not know the history of lynching in this country?
Well, apparently, Al Green doesn't know the history of lynching in this country. Yes, it was a majority of the people who were lynched by Democrats were black people. But there were a lot of white people who were lynched. It was frontier justice, so to speak.
The president should not compare a constitutionally mandated impeachment inquiry to such a dangerous and dark chapter of American history. It's irresponsible for him to do so, and I hope that he will apologize.
Does he not know that thousands of African Americans were lynched? Mob violence?
And he's right.
Does he not know that this is the equivalent of murder? How dare the president compare
let's see if anyone else has
Article
done
2, Section 4 of the Constitution.
Anyone else?
A lawful constitutional process to mob violence and lynching. It makes you no better than those who burn crosses. It makes you no better than those who wear hoods and white robes. Do you not understand what you're doing to this country?
Went on in 24 years ago with the President of the United States. This day feels to me like we're taking a step down the road to becoming a political lynch mob.
Oh, Representative Jim McDermott, Democrat, Washington. Yeah, somebody write a letter, please. Somebody write a letter.
We're in so much hurry to get this done so it can be in the Saturday, Sunday news cycle and have our
take us to church, Jim McDermott. Take us to church, brother.
Find a rope, find a tree, ask a bunch of questions later.
Yeah.
It will be too late for fairness. We can go back and get another rule, a fair rule that would give the opportunity to the president and secondly, to protect those people that even Mr. Starr says needs to be protected, for heaven's sakes. He didn't recommend we rush out here and do this at 100 miles an hour. And I think that this House is acting way too fast for any kind of fairness. Everyone here knows the public's going to get this. I urge you to vote no.
Gentlemen, what we are doing here is not a prosecution, it's a persecution. And indeed, it is a political lynching.
Oh!
I call this the nightmare before Christmas. And the American people find it difficult to believe that here we are on this day talking about impeaching a president who just came back from the Middle East almost with a peace accord. This is not about impeaching Bill Clinton. This is about trying to roll back the clock. This is about impeaching affirmative action, impeaching women's rights. This is about taking America back.
I just figured it out. It took me a minute. To figure it out. And a sip of my reparations coffee. The reason they could compare it to a lynching when they're talking about Bill Clinton, I don't know why this didn't cross my mind. I understand it now. It's because Bill Clinton was the first black president, and you try to impeach the first black president, it's clearly going to be called a lynching because Bill Clinton, right? He's black.
Rather than moving it forward, I know how I'm going to vote. My people have told me I will not disregard the people who elected me. 70% of them have said to me, protect the president. Vote to keep this president in office. So I will not vote for this nightmare before Christmas. I will not.
Yeah, they said this on the floor of the House. See, there was no Twitter back then, so they couldn't tweet it, but they said this on the floor of the House. This made the news.
Vote for this lynching in the people's house.
Lynching!
I will vote against these resolutions.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. Take him to church, brother. Take him to church. Oh, it's so disappointing, you know? It's so disappointing that they use such atrocious language referring to lynching. Of course, and then there's that... oh, the CNN article. Oh, my God. Whew. I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. It hurts my heart, people. It genuinely hurts my heart. Let's see. Let me see. I'm just taking a look at chat here. So this is the guy that said he would nuke us if we don't give up our guns. Yeah, that was about Swalwell. Oh, thank you, Cracked. One source. Charles Lynch, 1736 to 1796, Lynchburg, Virginia. Lynch was a judge and had a reputation for injustice. As a revolutionary, he was fond of punishing those accused of loyalty to the British. Yeah, there you go. Oh, man. I'm dumbfounded. Are we still choppy at all? I know I keep playing with my beard. I just noticed that when I went back to my monitor. Okay, enough of that. We... Oh, are y'all familiar with the Katie Hill thing? I don't know if I want to get into that. Oh, this was interesting. Here, let's go to this one. So Trump has kind of noticed something that a lot of you probably have already noticed. Trump says that anyone who is opposed to Hillary Clinton is a Russian agent. Now, we kind of talked about this the other day. Where's the close? Close this. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is accusing everyone of being a Russian asset. But a recent accusation against Representative Tulsi Gabbard probably helped the congresswoman like it ended up helping the Trump administration, President Donald Trump said Monday during a cabinet meeting. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard started to get a little traction, right? I mean, she was a big part of the news cycle because thanks to Hillary Clinton. She got a little fundraising bump, too. Trump began the meeting by urging Democrats to vote on the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, adding that his administration has done other trade deals, including one with South Korea. We've done South Korea, which is a fantastic deal for us. It turned out even better than we thought. South Korea was a terrible deal. The person in charge of that particular deal, Hillary Clinton, you've heard of her. She's the one that's accusing everyone of being a Russian agent. Anyone that is opposed to her is a Russian agent. So that's a scam. That was pretty much put down, he said. Tulsi, I don't know Tulsi, but she's not a Russian agent. I don't know Jill Stein. I know she likes the environment. I don't think she likes Russians. If she does like them, I know she's not an asset. She called her an asset of Russia. These people are sick. There's something wrong with them, Trump said. But I think Tulsi Gabbard probably got helped quite a bit by this stir. I think we were helped because it shows for 2.5 years we end up winning. I've had to go through 2.5 years. If she would have done this earlier, people would have realized what a scam it is. Everybody is a Russian or a Russian agent or a Russian asset, the president added. Now, let me just, this is the last time we'll probably talk about this, but I just thought this was funny because, and Bernie Sanders actually came out and finally defended Tulsi Gabbard and saying, she's not a Russian agent. This is kind of stupid. And even CNN, he showed you Van Jones the other day. Van Jones was saying, this is just a dangerous game, But here's the part of the backstory that didn't even cross my mind at the time. And I think, I did mention this, but remember that Tulsi Gabbard was a rising star in the DNC and they put her up with the DNC and she got up there and was like, this is fucked up. And, she's up there with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was the shill for Clinton, who was the DNC chairwoman. And so Tulsi Gabbard said, fuck it, I'm quitting the DNC. This is bullshit. And she went and endorsed Bernie Sanders, right? Now, if you look at all the current presidential candidates and all the ones, pretty much every single one of the people who are running for president now, except for Tulsi Gabbard, every single presidential candidate, except for Tom Steyer. He got in late, though. Every single presidential candidate, except for Tulsi Gabbard and Bernie Sanders, were superdelegates. Wait for it. Wait for it. Were superdelegates for Hillary Rodham Clinton. And Tulsi very notoriously quit the DNC and endorsed Bernie Sanders. So let me just, there's a lot of conservatives who say, I kind of like Tulsi Gabbard, blah, 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 blah. No. Tulsi Gabbard pretty much mirrors the politics of Bernie Sanders, although she sounds way better doing it, and she looks better doing it. She's a younger, attractive person who is very articulate, very smart, and I, like I said the other day, I like her anti-war stance. But everything else about her politically, no. Not me. Now, some of you, it's really curious to me too, because a lot of the people who are progressive Democrats, whatever, they're buying into this Russia bullshit with Tulsi Gabbard too. And a lot of the progressives who, you would like the ones who love Bernie Sanders, I watch them online now, and they hate Tulsi Gabbard, and I haven't figured it out yet. I don't get it. And the only thing is that at one point 10 years ago, she was, politically aligned with her father, and they were kind of anti-gay marriage back then. So she's not now, but those people hold a grudge against her for that. But they don't hold a grudge against Barack Obama for that. Or Joe Biden for that. Or, anyone else who thought, marriage is a man and woman. That 10 years ago, she thought that. Now, granted, she raised money for it and whatever, but you know what? That's not her stance today. But a lot of progressives absolutely can't stand her, and a lot of the establishment Democrats just can't stand her. Of course, that has to do with her leaving the DNC in a very public way and then going and endorsing Bernie Sanders while everyone else was superdelegates for Clinton. But it's just weird because she has, policy-wise, she's not very different from Bernie Sanders. And in fact, I wouldn't be shocked if somehow, which I don't see it happening necessarily, but if somehow Bernie Sanders came out of this nomination and became the Democratic nominee, I wouldn't be shocked at all if he chose Tulsi Gabbard as his running mate. That would not shock me at all. That, in fact, it'd probably be a good strategic move, only because there's a lot of conservatives who have this, why they like Tulsi Gabbard, and she's a likable person. I'm not saying that you shouldn't like her. I just don't think you should. If you're a conservative, she's the last person you want, or not, well, almost last, that you want to be president of the United States. So it's a fascinating thing that they're even that, but that's why that is why Hillary Clinton wants to go after Tulsi Gabbard. She, for some reason, she blames Tulsi Gabbard for her problems, wants to call her a Russian asset. She blames Jill Stein for losing the presidential election, which Jill Stein didn't lose the election for Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton lost the election for Hillary Clinton. All right, now it's that time. We're gonna go ahead and go into Twitter trends. I actually might get out of here on time for one day. Hey, Jaeger Pony, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning, Cynical Lindsay. Good morning, Check Your Logic. And somebody else showed up that wasn't here earlier. Well, there's a bunch of you. And all the extra lurkers who are back there, I am glad you are here. All right. Let's see my notifications real quick. Thank you, G Prime. I know you're out there. Thank you for retweeting the show this morning, too. I'm glad you're here also. I know you tend to have to lurk just because of the time of day that you listen. And, I had some bookmark things, too, that I wanted to get into. Do I have time for any of these? Yeah, here's that CNN article again. Let's just take a quick look at this one. Benghazi hearing, the high-tech lynching of Hillary Clinton. I want to reply to that Sophie, whatever her name is. Yeah, I'm sorry. You used lynching. Government government oversight is like lynching. Aren't you denigrating the history of the thousands of African American people who were lynched by people who look like you? Oh, some people's children, man. Some people's children. All right. What else did I have in my bookmarks here? Rob Elgus did that already. Reaction to Trump tweet. Oh my God. Oh, yeah, Elizabeth Warren. So this is fascinating because Elizabeth Warren, we'll get into Twitter trends right after this. So Elizabeth Warren thinks, she's talking about all this stuff she wants to give you for free. Universal health care, universal child care, universal college tuition, forgiving all student loans. I'm sorry. The people saying this shit, they're just talking out of their ass. I'm sorry. You want to cause financial and economic upheaval in this country, try to go through some of those plans. I'm just telling you, oh man. Anyway, Senator Elizabeth Warren, as I've explained, the wealth tax will pay for universal child care all the way through canceling student loan debt. Over the next few weeks, I'll be coming out with a plan about the cost of Medicare for all and how we will pay for it. Do you all realize, you're offering all this free shit because you say, oh yes, well, she won't say it. She hasn't said, first of all, wealth tax, pretty sure that's going to be thrown out in the courts because that's completely unconstitutional. Because now her wealth tax idea is that, oh, well, we're just going to, tax your net worth and take money from you. Yeah, I don't think so. That's, holy shit, that's dumb as hell. But, and then also, but she refuses to say that she's going to raise taxes. At least Bernie Sanders has the nuggets to say, yes, we're going to raise taxes on the wealthy. We're going to have to raise taxes on the near wealthy. We're going to have to raise taxes on the not so near wealthy. In fact, we're going to probably have to raise taxes on everybody. But we're going to give everybody the farm, right? Please. No. Anyway, but here's Senator Warren talking about this.
Senator, this plan that you're introducing today, the wealth tax is going to pay for this and other things.
Yes.
So how is your Medicare for all?
Look at the smile on her face when she says that. This thing you're planning, the wealth tax was going to pay for this. Yes. She's smiling. She's cheesing it up. Just do it again. Here, look at this again.
Senator, this plan that you're introducing today, the wealth tax is going to pay for this and other things.
Yes.
So how is your Medicare for all proposal going to be paid for, though, without the wealth tax?
So, as I've explained, the wealth tax will pay for universal child care all the way through canceling student loan debt. It's about an investment in an entire generation.
Oh, it's an investment. Oh, my God. Universal child care. Really? Universal child care. That's the other one too. How about just So you're gonna pay for shit for people. What about the people who never have children? Is it really their responsibility to pay for anything for my children? I get we do the school thing. That's fine. But maybe if you don't have those things, people plan for children better. I don't know. Why does they just... And it's one of those things where she's talking about giving away so much free shit, but do people understand that they're going to have to raise taxes on everybody to do it? There aren't enough rich people. And guess what? If you say we're going to tax their wealth, we're going to take shit from them, we're going to tax their income past a certain point up to 90%. Bernie's talking about 97.5% beyond a certain number. Why would I even bother making any more money? Why would I even bother trying to grow a business if you're just going to take it all? It doesn't make any sense. It's great that you see the numbers now because we're in a capitalist system where people are allowed to do this and do that, and they're not taking anything from me that I'm not giving to them. Jeff Bezos is not the wealthy ass motherfucker that he is because I'm not buying shit from Amazon. I voluntarily give my money to Jeff Bezos' company because there's shit on Amazon that I want and that I buy. I voluntarily do it. He's gotten rich because I voluntarily do it, and he's found the way that I prefer to buy stuff, or at least some things. I do buy things locally. I go to this store for that, this store for that. I go to the grocery store for food, and I buy some electronic shit on Amazon because I like the service. Comes right to my door. I don't have to figure it out. I can find just about anything I need. I found a part for my refrigerator. Part of my refrigerator broke. I went on Amazon, and instead of having to go to freaking appliance store, make model. Oh, here's the part. Broken. Comes to my door. I voluntarily give my money to Jeff. If he becomes rich on that, more power to him. Okay? It doesn't stop me from making money at the things I do. So if someone's a billionaire, so what? He's not taking anything away from me other than the money that I voluntarily give. Are there people out there that Jeff Bezos is coming in their neighborhood like the fucking Grinch and looking in their check account? They're looking at their checking accounts and they're writing it down and then going and taking their money without them asking? He's not doing anything. Great. He got rich. More power to him. I don't care. He's grown this company that people want to do business with. And so now you're going to take more from him, which is whatever. I don't care that. Sure. Should corporations pay taxes? Absolutely. I think he hires enough people because his share of the Social Security tax, whatever, on all the income that of the people he hires that gets taxed, I'm sure that it all turns out somewhere, works out. But I don't give a shit if there are billionaires. Okay? They're not cheating to become a billionaire. Bezos didn't cheat to become a billionaire. He just built something that people want. And he became a billionaire. Microsoft, Bill Gates. People want his shit, and he was smart enough to figure out how to do it. He's not taking money that I'm not giving him.
And she does. I'll be coming out with a plan.
Yeah, the point here, she's talking about this Medicare for all. I'll be coming out with a plan. Wait a minute, you have this Medicare for all plan. You have a plan for that, but you don't have it ready yet. You don't know how you're going to pay for it. You're not ready to show us how you're going to pay for Medicare for all. Do y'all realize that Medicare for all is just a stupid misnomer? Okay, if you're familiar with Medicare, my father-in-law was on Medicare and had a Medicare supplemental plan and whatnot. The reason Medicare is even feasible, okay, the only reason, I'm sorry, I have to stop. Duck Dog with a $3 super chat. Thank you for the $3 super chat via Streamlabs, link down below. He says, quote, smash the dislike like a hipster's face into a curb. Yes, if you must, you can smash the dislike button. I prefer the like button, but for Duck Dog, I want Duck Dog to hit this. Here, you get a bell for that one. That's funny as hell. She has this. So back to Medicare. And I talked to my wife about it because my wife worked in billing in hospitals, and now she's a nurse and she's a director of a assisted living place. The only reason Medicare is even feasible is because all the private insurance in our country subsidizes Medicare. Okay, so if you decide, we're going to have Medicare for all, Medicare probably pays 40 cents on the dollar of the actual expenses of that hospitals charge for shit. Okay, because Medicare goes and says, well, you've billed this, but this is how much we're going to pay. Suck it up, Buttercup. Okay, and either the hospital eats it or the hospital gives the balance to those seniors, which they don't because private insurance pays for the rest. Well, guess what? If you decide that we're going to have Medicare for all, single payer, one healthcare system, guess what? You know who pays for it? The same people that pay for Medicare, which is the federal government, which means hospitals, doctors, everyone's going to get squeezed out of the money they're making or whatever. Now, granted, will that mean automatically that hospitals will be nonprofit? Oh, wait. Aren't hospitals for the most part nonprofit already? At least where I live, they are. Okay, that's why they keep building buildings, because they have too much money, so they keep building shit because they're making. Medicare is subsidized by your private insurance if you have private insurance, because your private insurance is going to pay more. And think about this, okay? All right, so these people who say, Medicare for all because healthcare is a right. Guess what? If you go on Medicare, healthcare is not a right anymore. Do you know why? Because Medicare can decide whether or not you can have certain procedures, whether they're recommended by a doctor or not, and how much they're going to pay for those certain procedures. So, really, when someone says it's a right and that the government's going to pay for it, it's not a right. Let's say, I think I made this analogy the other day. What if an 87-year-old woman has complications, never had her tubes taken out, and decides they need a hysterectomy? Are they going to allow a doctor to do a hysterectomy on an 88-year-old woman? They'll probably deny it because healthcare is not a right. Healthcare is what you have a right to whatever you pay for. Well, Medicare won't pay for that. Okay. Oh, and also the other, it's just like with the college thing. Okay, which hospitals are going to be paid for by Medicare? Now, I'm pretty sure they're not going to outlaw private paying. Well, at least you don't think they're going to outlaw private paying medical whatever it costs. I know my Canadians probably could tell you different things about it there. It's the funny thing too. So I know, for example, I don't know if this is true anymore, but in the States, the reason one of the reasons that healthcare is so expensive is because it's very good, it's high quality, and it's super convenient here. It's amazing because I was thinking about this. There's a YouTuber who had a brain tumor that and she passed away not that long ago, and she's over in Great Britain, and they have universal health care, so to speak, or whatever they call it, their subsidized something insurance program that they've used over there. And she had this huge, almost a baseball-sized brain tumor, right? And she did this video talking about how, she's got to wait like 7 weeks to get an MRI. I'm like, what? You wait 7 weeks to get an MRI when you have a brain tumor? You know what happens here at least where I live in the Twin Cities? If my son had a problem with his elbow once, he had a football injury. It wasn't a football injury; he had a deterioration of the bones, and then they had to do some surgery on it, right? But when we went to the doctor, okay, we went to an orthopedic, okay, a urgent care orthopedic. So he walked in the same day and got his checked out without an appointment. And then the orthopedic said, you know what? This I can't really see from this X-ray. We'll need to get him an MRI. We walked down the hall, went down the elevator to a different floor where the orthopedic walk-in was, and he had an MRI 25 minutes later. Didn't even have to schedule it. On his elbow. Because there's convenience here. Yes, we have super convenience. Now, I know Canadians help me out, because I know there's a point when I was researching this several years ago that the entirety of Canada has like 8 MRI machines or 9 MRI machines. I don't know if that's I'm sure it's more than that now. Every hospital in the Twin Cities has an MRI machine. Plus, there's like probably 6 or 7 different private practices that have their own MRI machines. Something like that. We pay a lot for healthcare, but we pay for convenience, and we have the highest rate of survival for like high risk items in the world. Okay. Now people say, well, our healthcare is not, your healthcare is not the best in the world, because like when the World Health Organization ranks healthcare, well, they rank it by whether or not you get it like paid for by the government, or mortality rates. But mortality rates in the United States it doesn't have anything to do with healthcare. Okay. It's not healthcare. Okay. It's because, unfortunately, Americans have shitty diets too, and different exercise patterns in other places. So you can't. So they say, well, Japan has great healthcare compared to the United States. But if you get cancer, you want to be in the United States. Okay. If you get one of those highly specialized diseases where you need a specialized surgery, you want to be in the United States. That's why, for example, I live near the Mayo Clinic. Mayo Clinic's 40 miles south of me, I think, 40 miles to Rochester. I live near the Mayo Clinic. You know where all the Saudi royal family gets their health care? The Mayo Clinic. You know where a lot of very wealthy Canadian politicians and business people get their health care done? At the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. A lot of diplomats. We get constant diplomatic traffic when people need specialty health care. Because in the United States, it's very convenient and it's high quality. So, now you want to do Medicare for all. Well, you can do that and you can tax everybody for it and everything, but guess what? Now, guess who determines what procedures will be done and what it's going to cover? You know, you can fight that out with your insurance company. And I know people have nightmare stories with their insurance companies. I know that happens too. But imagine it being the federal government who decides when and where you get your health care. Because health care is a right until they have to pay for it. Then they're going to be very selective on what drugs you can use, very selective on what this you can use, what that. Yes, private health insurance does that too, but I'm going to guess not to the extent that the federal government would have to do to keep the costs down. All right, I rambled way too long on that. Let's get into Twitter trends, and I'm going to get out of here. I thought I was going to get out of here on time, but I'm not. Oh, my goodness. Well, Wednesday Wisdom was trending number 1, but now trending number 1 on... Oh, thank you again, Duck Dog and C. Thomas and Piccolo for the Super Chats this morning. And I really do appreciate that. All right, real quick. All right, trending number 1, David Ross, something with the Chicago Cubs. Why David Ross isn't about relationships in the clubhouse or ties to 2016. It's about his take no crap accountability is everything attitude, as I wrote when he got on Anthony Rizzo a few years back for not hustling. Cubs difference maker. Why is he trending? Oh, I see. David Ross will be named the next Cubs manager. Okay. I don't follow baseball as much as I should. I do know the Nats won the first game of the World Series, though. Wednesday Wisdom is trending number 2. Let's see if we can find one good Wednesday Wisdom. Here's just Jenna saying, good morning. Wednesday Wisdom, good morning. Busy day includes a trip to the surgeon. Just a quick... Okay, that's not wisdom. That's just something happening. Let's see. Adam Grant. The best way to prepare for criticism is to write down what you expect to hear. Negative feedback stings less when you see it coming. The comments you didn't anticipate are an opportunity to learn your blind spots. Oh my God! Did he just say blind spots? That's so fucking ableist. Will somebody please teach Adam Grant that blind spot is ableist? All right, moving on. Skiff is trending. See, no. News source tells me that House Republicans tried flooding the Skiff with non-committee members. Many brought their cell phones into the classified area. Standoff in progress, source adds. Republicans tried... see what's happening. See, the gentleman in this hearing, they're trying to do it behind closed doors. Matt Getz says he's about to lead a phalanx of House Republicans into the Skiff to check out what's going on with the whole impeachment thing. They're doing it behind closed doors. A Skiff is I can't remember the term. It's just a secured, compartmentalized something, whatever. It's a room where nobody can get information in or out, no pictures, no nothing, because it's classified. And they're using these secret impeachment inquiry hearings, whatever. So apparently they're having a little sensitive compartmentalized information facility, which is designed to hear classified info. Okay, this is Kurt Eichenwald. Matt Getz and his bonehead colleagues committed a crime. They haven't committed a crime. They could have been shot. Bunch of morons. Phones in the classified area of the Skiff is a significant breach. Rules on that are ironclad. Hey, let me ask you this. Okay, so y'all are so worried about a Skiff. Let me tell you something about that little classified information scandal we had recently with what's her name? That know her name. That she was the Secretary of State. Hillary Clinton. Remember that little email and classified information scandal? I want to know how they got information that was in Skiffs onto her server, because they found classified information. How did they get that transferred from those Skiffs onto her server? That was part of that deal. Comey even told us that. Fascinating that people are all worried about Skiffs now. Stupid move by the Republicans, if you ask me. Don't try to storm a Skiff. That's dumb. That's illegal. Whatever. But whatever. They're not... Whatever. Wednesday motivation. Wednesday thoughts are 4 and 5. Let's move on to that. Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden did an interview with Joe Rogan. And I'm going to listen to that. Unreal. How did he get that interview? Lots of people. Edward Snowden tweeted, "I sat down for an absolute marathon with Joe Rogan. I hope you enjoyed it." He's on there. He's trending. Fascinating how he did that. That's big news. Joe Rogan is interviewing Edward Snowden on the phone. No joke. Check it out. I suggest from a burner phone. Yeah, probably. If you know Edward Snowden's deal, go watch that interview. I'm going to check that out. He's probably in an area as he's smashing the. That's a funny there. I'm going to check that out. That's very interesting. Oh, all right, Steve Thomas. We'll see you later. Thank you so much again. I appreciate you tremendously. Hugh Hewitt is trending. He's a right-leaning radio jock or commentator. Hugh Hewitt says, Taylor's testimony is unknown to me and to you, Ron Fournier. Leaked accounts are disputed. Neither you or I know what he testified. This is why Star Chamber has such a bad reputation and why we don't do trials in secret. Don't abandon first principles to get real Donald Trump. Because, yeah, the thing is, so you heard the leaks from the Taylor testimony, right? And I maybe I'll get that CNN article because it's kind of indicative of how this is working. So they have this secret hearing and trial and testimony and whatnot. And so they leak the little tiny details that they want to, and they leak it in the way that Adam Schiff would write it. So you don't know what's going on in the testimony. And this is Ron Fournier says, his statement was made public, Hugh. It confirms the live confessions of the president and his ACOS. Those are facts. Truth is first principle. Au contraire, mon frère. His statement was not made public. They told you what he said, meaning they didn't put it in. It wasn't quotes. Okay. And this guy, this isn't the trial. This is the investigation, and you know that. But you deliberately misleading people. Is that first principle, Hugh? Yeah. Well, they're leaking what they want you to hear. Okay. They're playing this game of having everything behind closed doors, and then they come out and tell you what he said. We'll find out eventually. It'll be interesting to see what it is. AT's first anniversary. There's too much Korean writing here. That has to be K-pop. I'm not touching it. Walls. Oh, Walls is trending. Are the walls closing in? What is Walls? Oh, no. Lewis Tomlin's already announced Walls exactly 100 days before its release. Okay, apparently somebody has a music coming out called Walls. I don't care. Rossi is trending. Grandpa Rossi. What is that? 3 years ago, David Ross addressed the Cubs fans after the team punched their ticket to the World Series for the first time since 1945. You could say applause for Ross. He was loud, okay? Is that the same guy? Yeah, that's the guy who's going to be the Cubs manager. All right, moving on. Fallout 76, new premium subscription, $12.99 a month, costs more than Xbox Game Pass, $9.99 a month, on which you can get new Fallout New Vegas and the Outer Worlds. Yeah, wow, they're $12.99 a month for Fallout. Okay, it's Bethesda. Everyone hates Bethesda now anyway. All right, happy Scorpio. Apparently Scorpio Day starts today. It's the season for Scorpios. If you're a Scorpio, hey, happy birthday. Espada. What the fuck is Espada? According to ESPN, Shy Cubs on the radio. David Ross and Joe Espada did a fake presser at a mock team meeting this week. David Ross blew the Cubs front office away on Monday, and the decision came shortly after. So, okay, something about Espada and Ross and whatnot. I don't care. Ukrainians are trending. Neither he, Taylor, or any other witness has provided testimony that Ukrainians were aware that military aid was being withheld. You can't have quid pro quo with no quo. Congressman Ratliff, Fox and Friends. Where is the whistleblower? The do-nothing Dems case is dead. Oh, for fuck's sake. They're going to be fighting over that for a while. You know what? This is one of those wait until it all comes out, because you're not going to get an answer that is accurate from either side until it all comes out. I don't trust any of them, so there you go. The reason I couldn't be president is trending. I get distracted easily. The reason I couldn't be president is because I would probably press the button with the quickness because humans are a plague that can't seem to act right. Oh, goodness gracious. Reason I couldn't be president because I like to kick babies, but only stunt babies. Babies specially trained and ready for pummeling. Oh, good God. The reason I couldn't be president, Angry Yang would kick my ass in an election. I almost read that wrong. In an erection. God. The reason I couldn't be president, because I'm a princess, damn it. The reason I couldn't be president, I have a tendency to roll my eyes at everything. Yeah, that would be problematic, especially in like some high-level negotiations. Okay, so that's a cute hashtag, but I'm done with it already. Stop the stigma. It's got to be about mental illness. What it actually looked like to stop the stigma. Mental illness should be treated as a confidential matter between the doctor and patient. The files, notes should never be shared with family, courts, law enforcement, or insurance companies unless they are paying. Insurance shouldn't be allowed to use it to deny coverage. Excuse me. Okay, that's fair. If you want to stop the stigma, why do so many people support taking away guns from people if they get diagnosed with any mental illness? Okay, good question. 1 in 5 Americans live with mental illness, and CBS This Morning wants to be a part of the conversation. Great, good for them. At 8 a.m., they're dedicating an hour of their broadcast on CBS for a live audience special called Stop the Stigma to find new understanding, hope, and ways to move forward. Yeah, probably a noble, whatever gesture there. Number 18. I'm going to skip 19 because 1 year with ATs is something about K-pop. I ain't touching that shit. But last, we're going to finish off with the hashtag Ruin Halloween in 4 words. This should be good. You can come up with your own in the chat if you'd like. Ruin Halloween in 4 words. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. And this is going to be how we finish the show today. Okay, hashtag avoid these Halloween disasters. That's 4 words, but that's not really how I want to do. Ruin Halloween in 4 words. Just look down here. Halloween rules. Trick-or-treaters over 12 years old. Misdemeanor, fine $25 to $100 and jail up to 6 months. Trick-or-treating after 8 p.m. Chesapeake. These are the Chesapeake, Virginia rules on Halloween. Oh my God. Trick-or-treating after 8 p.m. Misdemeanor, fine $10 to $100 and or up to 30 days in jail. They can throw you in jail for trick-or-treating after 8 p.m. My God, the kids here around here go at least till 8:30. Sometimes 9. The older kids, all the like middle schoolers who are like 13, 14 start showing up around 8:30 or 9 with these giant bags, and it's kind of weird. They don't come in costumes, but I just don't. You know what? I don't care. It's like their last hurrah at trick-or-treating. Who cares? Ruin Halloween in 4 words. Hotel toiletries for treats. Yay. Have some necro wafers. Oh, those things are pretty nasty. Although some people like them. Ruin Halloween in 4 words. I lost my broomstick. Oops. There's some gratuitous ass there. Squirrels stole the pumpkins. Ruin Halloween in 4 words. Ruin Halloween. Take my broom away. Okay, that's cute. It rains that day. That's always a bummer, man. Because, in Minnesota, it's hit or miss on Halloween. Sometimes there have been, since I've lived in this house, for example, we've lived in this house, I think 8 or 9 years. And, occasionally we've had 1 year where it was raining and that kind of sucked. And then we had 1 year where it was just real. It was like 30 degrees, 28 degrees, and all the kids they're in costumes, but they're all wearing coats and stuff. So I have this portable fire pit. So I always build a big fire in my driveway and move the fire pit in the middle of the driveway and build a big fire. So I'm always a popular house on those cold Halloween days because people stand around my fire for a while to warm up. But anyway, ruin Halloween 4 days. Keep your lights off. You're a monster. Give out Tootsie Rolls. What? I love Tootsie Rolls. Give out Tootsie Rolls. That doesn't ruin Halloween. especially if you give out the little tiny ones and just those things are a pain in the ass, but you ever give out the big Tootsie Rolls, those are great. Ruin of Halloween in Fort Worth, someone ate the Snickers. Now, there's been a couple years when I just went to Sam's Club and we bought full-size, we bought a 4 cases of the king-size Snickers. We handed out the big giant Snicker bars, and the kids loved us that year. But it costs a lot of money to do that. Nobody understands your costume. Yeah, that's a weird one. Interesting. They put eyelashes on their forehead, and that eye they painted there too, though. That's interesting. It's on a weeknight. Fuck, you're right. No one cares if Halloween's on a weeknight. It's better if it's on a Friday or Saturday, but man. Ooh, sugarless Haribo gummy bears. Yeah, no. Oh, apparently they give you they give you some extra intestinal usage, apparently. Nobody guessed my costume. Okay. All right. So anyway, that's enough for that one. That's it. We got to go. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I so appreciate you guys being here today. Thank you for the people who did the Super Chats, Duck Dog, C. Thomas, Pincalo. I appreciate you guys. And, you know what? We'll be here tomorrow because we're here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. And we, what am I saying? Anyway, thanks for those of you who shared the stream out. If you haven't done so already, on your way out, hit the like button, hit the share arrow, and for the future, we do super chats through the Streamlabs links down below. We also do donations if you're doing this off live hours or whatever, you're watching this after the fact. Thanks to all of those of you who support the show in any of those ways, either by making comments in the comment section, hitting the like button, sharing, or doing the super chats. They are all completely valuable, and they help the show grow. We're so happy that we got over the 400 subscribers. The next goal is 500 subscribers. And then after that, the next goal of that is 1,000. And we'll try to grow and make the chat more fun, because the more the merrier. I even like it when sometimes we get a troll, or not even a troll, just people who have different opinions. I value different opinions in the chat also. So please, invite people that either through other streams or whatever, invite them to come join the show. If you haven't seen my new outro, you're gonna see it in a second if you haven't seen that one yet. Thank you again. I gotta go. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.